Hello, everyone. Hi. How are you,
Hi guys,
Andrew?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm happy to have this workshop again with you. Now we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Um, so this workshop, as I mentioned earlier, these ones on Thursday, they are public workshops, but we also have our crowd of people watching us from our current cohort, our cohort 3 participants. So big hello and shout out to all of them. Um, People are currently busy building stuff with Scope and around Scope using a number of different integrations and protocols and systems that we have. And we already had a bunch of office hours and workshops and community activities around it. And today is one such where we believe that the content that we're going to be showing today is equally valuable for cohort participants, but also for everyone else that are who's following Scope and what is it they're trying to build with Scope. So for those who are watching this on YouTube, Instagram, X, wherever we are streaming this, there's a little QR code up in the corner where people can scan it and join our Discord community. Feel free to ask questions there or on any of the other channels. So I'll try to collect those questions and share them with Andrew as we go along. And Andrew, what do you have in store for us today? So one thing that I know that people would be very interested in seeing is how to connect Scope with Touch Designer. How does that work? Tell us a little bit more about that. I'm excited to see what you
Yeah,
prepared.
that's basically what we're gonna be doing today. I'm
Let's go.
so I put a little Touch Designer file that everyone can download, and it just has a few things. The first thing is the Scope TD, which is like
Mhm.
I don't know, like Stream Diffusion TD, but just with Scope. There's also this little visual thing that I made that you might see like common like in Touch Designer worlds like VJs might use. It's just like a little circle like that's moving around. And then there's a video that I don't know if I'm going to use. So I'm going to just turn that off for now. And then some prompts
Okay.
and like control prompts. And then lastly, I have like this little layout here that is like kind of like a trick to make things, I guess, like more real time if you're just trying to make video assets. But
Mhm.
yeah, essentially I just wanted to go through some basics about Scope and teach you guys how to use just like some of the features, because a lot of the coolest parts are kind of hidden behind like there's no like option to select. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be going through. But yeah,
Quick
if you want.
question, Andrew. The file that you mentioned, where can people get it and how can they follow along?
Yeah, so I dropped it. Oh my gosh, where did I drop it? I dropped it here in our
Scope channel.
Discord. Yeah, Scope
Mhm.
channel. I'll also forward it to um the Sleepwalking channel as well. If you guys want to
All
check that
right.
out. But
So everyone
yeah,
can get it.
honestly, like this hopefully like this isn't sort of meant to be like a follow step tutorial, but it's more so just so that you guys can open it up and see what I'm doing. If you do have any questions, I will be in the office hours afterwards and you guys can ask me. I kind of just want to go through some general features. So yeah, if you fall behind or if you're not able to catch up, like don't worry, I can help you guys out like throughout the week or just like literally afterwards. I just want to like get people like familiar with like maybe some of the things that Ryan couldn't get too in depth with on Tuesday. Yeah.
It
Okay.
was Tuesday, yeah. And also
Yeah.
we are recording this. This is on YouTube and we will be posting it so people can also rewatch it if they can't follow
Yeah.
along in real time. Yeah. So you're good to
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Amazing. Great. Okay. So I'm going to first. Yeah. So I have Scope open, just like very default. If you guys want to follow along, I am on the latest version, I believe. So that's 0.17. And yeah, for now, we're just gonna go through Scope, just like a few quick features about Scope, and then we're gonna connect to OSC afterwards. So we're just gonna stay in this app. I have a web browser version, but you might have just like the app. And also, if you guys have any questions, like just put it down in the chat. But yeah, so when we first start up Scope and we're connected, I like to use Long Live. If you guys don't want to use that one, that's fine. But most of them require 20 to 30 gigabytes, right? So I'm using remote inference. You can turn it on and you can check if it's connected just by going up here. But yeah, a few things that I would really highly suggest you guys do is if you don't want to go through all of this like UI, is definitely check out our workflows. I'll teach you guys how to upload and download a workflow later. But for now, I'm just gonna get you guys like how to set up like something that we might actually use. So yeah, right now it's in text mode. So I'm actually going to change this into video mode on the left-hand side. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that eventually I want to use Touch Designer, right? So if you do have this open, you might be able to, if you do have this open, you'll be able to connect your like video input here or whatever is going into this Scope TD into Scope itself. So what I would like to do is eventually I'll be clicking on like NDI or Siphon, but for now I'm gonna just keep it on like this for like normal sake, just like to test if everything else is working. My prompt is the same. My transition step I don't need to do. I'm gonna turn on Siphon output just so that Scope can also talk back to Touch Designer. And then on the right hand side, I do have a few things that I can add. There's post processors and pre-processors, for example, like Scribble, and then the post processor is like Rife. And so these are all just like things that like modify your input beforehand, and then these will like interpolate. I'm going to keep these off for now, and we're going to also keep base off for now. I'm just going to try to run this to make sure that it works. And then we can kind of go on from there. So for now, I'm just going to try to press play, and hopefully it should load.
Really so the thing when you said that we are connected, we have remote inference. So even for people who don't have strong local GPUs like 4090 or 5090s, they could connect if they have our Daydream account, just by clicking on that cloud icon, and they pretty much get the remote inference for them. The models and everything running on H100 GPUs for them.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we're running at 14.5 FPS, no base. And yeah, if you guys ever are like confused on why things aren't running and you're like having a black screen, you should just open up your logs. And if you open up your logs, there might be some info about it. Just try to look for anything that says like error or like anything that's red. And even if there isn't anything and it's still like going black, the best thing you can do is you can actually just copy this log down here and then you can send that as a bug report if you go into the settings on the top right. Yeah, right here with the help. But yeah, okay, cool. So now that we have this running, that's great. I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to delete this. So pause. The way I did that was I paused it, I reset it, and then I pressed delete. So like 1, 2, and 3. And the reason why we're going to do that is because I want to do a bit of OSC control now. So the way that we do OSC control is essentially we're going to need to go into this top right corner again. And there's a bunch of information here, but we want to go down to OSC. And so where OSC is, you'll see that there is this status right here that says listening to UDP port. You'll see this number repeated a bunch of times, like 8,000 here, 8,000 here, 8,000 here. And that's really important because that's basically the channel on which like Scope and Touch Designer can like hang out and like chat, which is great because then we can use Touch Designer as a remote and then we never need to open this interesting UI ever again. Hopefully that's the point. But for now, there are still a few things that we need to set up. So number one is make sure that whatever number you have here is also the number that you have here. So this is 8,000 and this is 8,000. So we're good. I believe that if you're on the Electron app, it's like, I think like 52,000 or something, but all you have to do is copy this and paste it. Yeah. Do we know what the actual number is?
I think it's like 51,378, but it's important that both ports are the same on the receiving end and the sending end, so they can talk to each other. That's the only important part.
Yeah. So a few things that's cool about so once it's there, what you can actually do, and I'm gonna close this a bit so that everyone can see. But as long as you have this parameter box open, you can actually toggle between text and video straight from this Touch Designer UI. So like I can go video or I can go text, and you'll see that we get a little an instant change. And so that's just like the first thing. Another thing that you could do is you can change the source. So you see video source here. This is something we still have to choose manually, but if we want, let's say this little visual right here to get into our scope, we're gonna need to choose which I guess protocol we're using. I use NDI, so I basically want to click on NDI, and then my thing is already selected as NDI, so that's great. So now,
Andrew, is there a prerequisite for using NDI for people who just want to use it? Do they need to have something on their machines?
Yes, they do. Let me get that for you guys. NDI is, you do have to pre-download it, and I think a lot of VJs end up having it. So if you don't worry. I think Siphon is kind of built into Macs and Windows, so I was going to go into that too. But if you want to download NDI, it'll just be here. And NDI is great. It's a great little like webcam video thing. Like, I don't know, it's just a good little toolkit if you're ever trying to be a VJ or trying to get installation work. Like you can transmit things like very low latency through Wi-Fi. But yeah, so for me, I use NDI. But if you don't have NDI, you don't want to install it right now, that's okay, because we also have Siphon. But I'm going to first select my NDI. So it should just kind of pop up automatically. If it doesn't, you can refresh, and then you'll have an ability to show a live preview. And there it is. It's really laggy. Don't worry. I think it's supposed to be laggy, or I don't know, not intentional. It's not actually going to be that laggy when you do pass through. But if you don't have NDI, you can also just select Siphon/spout in your source, and then you can go into here, and it should come here as well. So
for people on Mac, it will be Siphon, and for people on Windows, it will be Spout. Essentially, the same protocol, the same stuff for them as they selected, right? And it will be shown differently in the Scope UI, right? So for the people who are running this on Windows, they will have the Spout output toggle, and the people who are running this on Mac, like you are right now, it is shown as a Siphon output. Yeah, gotcha.
But in Touch Designer, they're actually kind of bundled up into the same little node, which is nice.
Same stuff,
yeah. Now I know that there's a bit of bugs sometimes with I don't know if it's fixed, but if you don't end up getting a visual here, a good way to test, if you don't want to just like wait for a model, is you can go to pass through, and pass through is just like a nothing. It does nothing. So then you can just press play, and it should just kind of run.
It literally passes through the stuff.
Yeah, beautiful. But yeah, so that's the first thing. I'm gonna go back to Long Live. Something that is a bit annoying is that when you do go back to another another input, you actually, or another pipeline, you do have to reset completely. Like you kind of lose all your progress. So be careful with that. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Be careful with that. Hopefully we can change that later. But yeah, so once we're here, I'm going to simply just go into the real-time params. And I'm not gonna run it yet, but I just want to show off something. So for example, we have this prompt right here, but then we also have this prompt that we want to update here. So all we really need to do is we just have to, like, I don't know, like, let's just call this like burning colorful fire or something like that. And then once you type it, you can like click off of it, and it will run. Look at that, so cute. So yeah, now that we've changed our prompt, I'm actually gonna run Daydream, and this should kind of fire up. And once that's going, it should actually also appear here, hopefully.
Any moment now.
Any moment now.
I like how you're doing the stuff that you just described to others. If something's black, go to the logs. So it's not that you're just preaching it; you're actually doing it live.
Wait, it had like one. Oh, hold on. It's because I don't have.
What's going on?
I think it's because there we go. It's because I wasn't on NDI. I was on. There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Great. Yeah. So the reason that wasn't running at first was because I was on Siphon, and I was supposed to be on NDI. So that matters. Anyways, we got it running. Amazing. Perfect. Okay. Cool. So now, well, we're not. It's not on. So we actually need to fix that, and the reason why it's not on is because number one, you have to double check that the Siphon output is on. But number two, in the output params, you gotta set it to your output. So if you're using Siphon spout out, that TD spout will also be there. Don't click on this one; it'll just kind of reroute this back into here. But mine is Python, so oh my god, look at that! Wow, amazing, amazing! Look at that, beautiful,
so smooth,
so smooth. And it's smooth because, well, number one, I think it's we're on H100, but also I haven't been. I'm not using Vase. I'm just using a simple, a simple no Vase. Yeah, this Vase thing doesn't do anything.
There's virtually like no overhead, right, at this point. I mean, some, but not as you would have with Vase and potentially some others.
Yeah, it's not crazy, which is good. It gets a bit crazier once we try on Vase, but that's okay. We'll go through that when we get there. But yes, okay, so a few things that we can do now. So number one is we can just go into here straight up, and we can just be like, I don't know, like fireworks. And it should, wow, look at that. It changed like that, just like fireworks. Yep. And you can check in your scope UI if the prompt actually like sent. But yeah, everything should kind of change instantly, or not instantly, but it should just kind of do it automatically as long as your OSC is connected. So like I could do something like paint splatter as well. And now we got.
I'm surprised how fast. I mean, we're watching these things pretty much every single day, but sometimes it's so surprising to see that it happens like within a second.
Right.
It's relatively low latency. Yeah. It's just like wow.
And then so yeah, and then another thing is so one of the things is when I change this, right, it kind of does like this like automatically, and you kind of do a shift, right? So something that you can actually do to change it, and if you're like coming from Stream Diffusion, you'll kind of be used to this, where like when you change the prompt, it will kind of like just instantly snap to the next thing, which is like, you know, kind of, it breaks the immersion, right? So luckily in Scope, a lot of these video models, you have a transition strength, and I like to kind of bring that up into 2. And the reason why is because then I can do something like, let's go to like blazing colorful fire again. And then it does it a lot smoother, which is something that, you know, before like, in Stream Diffusion, you had to, you kind of had to build your own systems. But with all of these video models, it's great. It's like you don't even need to like really think about it. It just kind of does it. Now, if you notice that little glitch right there, so that has to do, I believe, with the cache. So whenever you're doing a Scope instance, there's kind of like a memory. They kind of like keep the generation kind of keeps the prompts that have been there, especially like the first prompt. Now, I believe that there is a bug right now with the cache right now. So let me just see if that, like, let me actually here before I even, let me change back to like paint splatter. So because there's like a working memory, sometimes the older prompts will kind of leak into the newer prompts. And if you want to prevent that, you'll just have to press this cache management button, and it'll reset it. Maybe they fixed it, but yeah, now you kind of have like a much cleaner paint splatter vibe, and you won't actually have to deal with like fireworks. It does break the thing, like the I guess like the consistency of it, but I don't know. I'm sure there's ways to like activate like a plugin, sorry, a node, and like actually like do some like visual effects while you're like resetting a cache, so it doesn't seem like it actually breaks the immersion, which is something that people should probably look into. I think that would be like a pretty cool project.
Yeah, but we've seen in previous cohort and this one as well that people are sometimes very creatively using this entire managed cache. Well, I don't want to say situation, but feature, right?
Yeah.
If you want like a super clean cuts between the scenes, in that case, resetting cache and stuff like that makes a lot of sense, right? Or if you want these other things, you can just play around with it. But yeah, I agree. It would be a pretty neat idea to try and develop a node that maybe modifies or intercepts some of the default cache behavior, which might be a little trickier because this deals with the latent spaces and the way how the diffusion models work themselves. But yeah, nonetheless, it can be used intentionally for what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's a yeah, and I think being able to kind of expose everything into Touch Designer, depending on your expertise, it's pretty cool to be able to automate these things and connect them to other things in such a nice little sandbox UI. But yeah, so another thing that I wanted to add was, okay, yeah. So the next thing I wanted to go into was something called step schedules. So by default, there's two. And if I usually like to keep my first one to 1,000. I'm gonna bring this down and see what happens. Okay, it should be fine. Okay, but I like to keep mine at 1,000 and the first step, and then depending on how high your second step is, like if I crank this up to like 950, you'll kind of notice that who is this man? Oh my god, terrifying. But there's no like, you'll see that like our input is like completely gone, right? Like, who is this guy? Why is he here? It's because our step size, our step 2 size at least, is so high that it like kind of just ignores our input and is just kind of like using, it's like kind of like, oh, like I'm just gonna turn into a text model again. That's how I kind of assume that like what's going on. So make sure that you don't keep it too high if you don't have Vase. But I'll get into that later. But I like to, but like if I bring it down to like 250, like my second step, now I'm getting like, oh my god, it's the exact same thing. But like maybe like a little bit glitchier, or like a little bit more splatter, or which is something that you might want. And I think something else is interesting is woof. I'm gonna reset the cache real quick. But another thing is like we can add another step. And one thing that I need to point out that's like really important is this is our third step. So if you go into, third step is 1,000, right? But if you go into your actual scope, oh my god, sorry. Oof. If you go into, thank you. If you actually go into your scope and look at your step sizes, you'll see that this guy right here is the step 3 is actually one value down, and it's because
it always needs to be lower, right? That's how they're stacked for the denoising steps.
Yeah, highest, second highest, third highest, fourth highest, and it will automatically set it. So just be aware of that. So like, for example, if I bring this to like 600, these two will kind of move together. So yeah, just like make sure that this one's always like kind of down, like lower. And yeah, you can get 4 of them. And then if you try adding another one, it won't actually do anything. So yeah. Now, why would you want more step sizes? A big reason is that you get like a better quality. I don't know. I think this is like looks nicer. You lose a bit of FPS, but we went from like, I think like 18 FPS to like 13, so like 5-ish FPS. But depending on what you're looking for, the quality might actually matter a bit. And yeah, if we like kind of bring these two down, I'm actually pretty sure if I bring it back down to like 200, yeah, so now we're back at that 200 state, right? Where like before, but it's just like I don't know. I think for me, it's just like a little bit more like quality wise, like it just like looks nicer. Oh my god. But yeah, I wonder why that is. But yeah, I like to use 4-steps when I'm not using Vase, but really it's up to you. And I usually just
Would
play
you
around.
say the biggest? Would you say that the biggest trade-off would be the drop in FPSs by adding multiple steps? I mean, depends on the GPU how pronounced that it is, right?
Yeah, I think like FPS definitely like that's a big
Mhm.
one, but I think one of the things that is maybe even more annoying is like I think simultaneously with the FPS, unfortunately, as it drops to lower, also like the prompt, like the parameter updating becomes slower. So it's really like a balance between like making sure that your parameters or like I mean if it doesn't really matter to you like parameters updating in real time like super much I think that that's fine, but for me I like to keep things fast and snappy. So yeah, I like made a bug fix on this component so it wouldn't send too many OSC updates because that was kind of also lagging the thing like crazy. But yeah, anyways,
Cool.
this is basically what I wanted to show for the UI. Now, something that you can also do is because this is Touch Designer, what we can actually do is I have these two prompts in here. And so one thing that's really important to note is that all of these prompts it's not like Stream Diffusion. This is not like Stream Diffusion where you kind of have like a word salad of ideas and like you kind of stitch them together with like I don't know like cinematic 4K like features. For this, it's more like you have to be really descriptive. And so what you can do actually is you can use I use like ChatGPT to kind of like prompt it a bit better. And all you have to do is you kind of just have to like take in like any sort of word, like this guy right here, and then I think there's this little guide right here. It's
Oh,
called
so it knows it's using VAN 2.1 1.3b model, so it
yeah.
adjusts the prompt to it. Is that the idea?
Basically, I just kind of like copied this entire like this little
Uh-huh.
GitHub, and then I paste it into like here. I'll put this into the chat right now. But basically, what I do is I copy this entire thing, and then I bring that into ChatGPT, and I'm like, basically, I like for all of this, like if I go back all the way to like the first thing ever, I think I'm like, hey, like use this information to generate a prompt that describes mossy organic fields, right? And then it gives me like this crazy little thing. And it's great because you get a lot more detail out of, you get a lot more like bang for your buck for your like generation. It's actually insane how crazy it changes. And I will show you like literally right now. If I can, okay. So like right now, if you guys are on the Touch Designer like file, what you can do is I actually connected this group of nodes into this prompt. So if you open up this prompt in the real-time parameters tab, if you open up this prompt by clicking on the prompt text, you'll see that there's like 4 little boxes that you can choose from. If you choose the second box, it will go into this prompt thing right here. And I believe the first one is a paint scene. So right now it's right now it's a galaxy like thing because I'm at 1, but I can press 2 to change the index to 0. And that would be our first one. And yeah, let's see if I can reset the cache here. Oh, yeah, this is the bug again. Okay, so the reset cache sometimes will only go back to your like OG prompt that you had like loaded up. I don't know. It's like a bit broken. I'm not entirely sure. Like this reset cache went back to the original paint splatter, but hopefully we can actually change that right now. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is there's like the better prompt of paint splatter, but yeah, essentially what I wanted to do was I actually wanted to just show off that, hey, you can actually just, I'm changing the prompt with a push of a button now. Like, look at that. Whee! And it's a bit late. Hmm?
So we have someone asking, so what you're doing is pressing 1 and 2 on your keyboard, basically mapping prompts to keys, or how
That's
are
one
you
way
switching
you
them?
can do it. For me right now, so this keyboard in takes in my two button, like my press
Okay.
button. So when I press 2, I go back to 0.
Mm-hmm.
And that means I'm going back to the paint. And yeah, so this counting, what I'm doing is I have these two texts right here. I'm converting this into a tab separated list. And then I have this prompt, and basically in Touch Designer, you have, I think it's like column and then row, or no, row and then column. So what you can actually do is you can, like, if I grab a text prompt like here, I can drag, if I give it a text top, I can actually drag this guy onto here, and I can call whatever values are in this data set by just simply doing something like this. And I'll make sure to fit this. Hold on. Oh, okay. No, this is a really long prompt. That's why. But that's okay. Like literally all you need to know is that I am just taking this value simply by being like, hey, this is my node. Get me the 0th column and the 0th in the 0th row, right? And then I can move this up to 1, and now it's changed to the cosmic one. But basically, I'm changing this value here, but instead of doing it manually with the keyboard, I'm using a little guy right here. And yeah, you can see that happening right here, where I am doing exactly the same command, where I'm calling that node, and then I'm grabbing that position, but instead of it being 1 or 0, I'm actually taking the value of this node right here. It's a little like, it's like one of those like Russian dolls where you like open them and you're like, oh, like this is another one and another one. That's kind of like the calling. You're like, I'm calling one value to call another value. But it's really great because now you can automate things. And another thing I can do is this count is looping based off of how many rows there are. So right now it's going between 0 and 1 because there's only 2 prompts. But I also generated this like large, or not even large, it's 5. So we can bring this one up here as well. And now what I can do is I can just count up again. And I actually don't know what these prompts are, so hopefully it's not crazy. This is, liquid ink, okay.
Okay.
And this one is another particle. Whoa, bubbles. Okay, cool.
Bubbles, some kind of, yeah.
And then we have another one. Oh, sorry, I should probably bring this one up. Ooh, electricity. Okay, very cool. And then, so we're on 4.
Wow, this looks like lightnings.
Yeah, and then we have 5, which is
explosions, diffusion. What's that? Like
fire? Oh, smoke. Cool. Whoa. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Smoke. And then we have, let's do last one, which is more fire. Oh, fireflies. Cool. Awesome.
I remember, I think Cosmic Crafter or someone said it in maybe your event on Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't even know when, these are like, someone spent a lot of time in the 90s building these things as screenshots for Windows, and now you get to do it with Touch Designer with this in like 10 seconds. You don't have to spend too much time around that, and you get even more expressive forms
Amazing.
in front of you. Yeah.
This is actually what peak human evolution has converged to. Actually, we're actually all just
Exactly. That's what we're headed for. It's all worth it.
optimizing for screensavers. Actually, like that's
Exactly.
but yeah,
RAM price is completely justified.
but
Awesome. But in all seriousness, so for example, when you have like this stack of prompts,
mhm.
let's say that you're doing like an installation or an actual event, and doing this for your actual purpose. What's the typical use case where you would like to have the ability to switch between them like this? What's
Yeah,
the
so
typical situation?
there's a few things that I think are really interesting. Number one
Hmm.
is like gesture control. I think that's cool. Or like using like this can be like I'm triggering this with a keyboard, right? Like, but
Yeah.
this is just an input, right? So you can literally do whatever you want, right? You could do
Okay.
like a hand wave, or like when a color is detected, or like a face is detected, or like an object is detected, right? Like there's so many like different ideas that you can kind of do simply just by opening this ability to automate it through Touch Designer.
Gotcha.
Another way is, so a few ideas actually. So in Touch Designer, you can also cut like I believe there are some free language models that will actually just prompt enhance. Now
Hmm.
that's great because that means I could do something like, it's not something I've done yet, but I know Dot Simulate, the guy who created a Touch Designer, Stream Diffusion TD, he did this. But like something you could do is you could like just be like, I don't know, bubbles, right? And then that could like feed into like an LLM, right? And then that could go into this prompt, right?
Hmm.
Now
It
that's
would improve
cool.
it, right? You could have like a node that would send it to an LLM for enhancement or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then so someone could probably just type their own thing.
Hmm.
But also you could do something like voice, like you could do voice activated prompt changes. Touch Designer has
Nice.
a lot of support for that. And yeah, it's a kind of endless. And this is like only scratching the surface because I'm not even using Vase, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. That's another insight. You said, like, with good prompting around this, and with these protocols, sometimes you don't even need to have some heavy LoRa's or ways which takes up, shaves off a couple of frames per second. You might
Yeah.
get these things just almost natively, in a way speaking, right?
Yeah, I think what's important is to find visuals that are compelling to begin with, maybe,
Mm.
and then crafting prompts around the like the vibe of that. Like this, I look at it and I'm like, oh, like immediate, I'm like, oh, this could be like paint splatter. So I tried it out and it like worked
Mm.
really good. Now, obviously, you don't need to do that, but I feel like making sure that you kind of have the a way to associate all these different parts together is like just like a really useful tool, like a useful thing to have for yourself when you're kind of building these things. Now, yeah, I think another thing is while we're here, because we're not using Vase for this, and this is just kind of an input, one of the things that will go really smoothly is I can just change the colors. Like it's
Oh,
crazy. I
wow.
can slowly change the colors to like,
How did you do that? Okay, you changed it in the HSV that adjust, right?
yeah. But I think that it's really cool that you can just like this is crazy to me. I'm gonna change the prompt again, and you can just automate so much of this. Like
Hmm.
it's really neat that you can automate so much of this. And you could like really make like a very, I don't know, like maybe like an immersive experience. You can also play around with the step sizes as well. Like you could you could up it a bit more to be more like interpretive, or you could lower it down so it has more of your source. Um, but yeah, it's really, really up to you. I think that's all I kind of wanted to show off. You can go into this and you can play around with this guy right here. I made this a while ago, but it's just a few feedback loops. I think I colored a few things red so that you guys can change it. I feel like if I, yeah, honestly, I'm not going to go into this, but yeah. What else?
I have a question for you. We've seen this one component, scope TD, right? That's something that you've built from the scratch. How is the process? Can you walk us through that?
Oh yeah! Oh my god,
How you
it's
did
so
it?
easy. It's so fun and so easy. Like honestly, like I know this looks like a lot, but it just follows the same thing. Like the OSC support is great. I feel like the engineers did such a great job actually, like integrating this stuff. And I built my own version beforehand, but like literally what it is like let's look at, like I have some of these guys here. Okay, I can do something like this. So I'm gonna bring this guy in. And then I'm also going to open up the parameters here. And I'm going to go into here. So this is my visual, right? My text prompt OSC sender is simply, it's this little system right here that it will take my text and then it will evaluate the number of characters there are. And then with that, I can simply, every single time it changes, I run a command that is this guy, and it's literally just this. It just takes the prompt and then it sends it over into this little scope thing right here. And well, how do I know that that's the right one? Well, there's a scope documentation for OSC, but you can also find it right here. Whoa. And yeah, everything is here. I think we're still adding stuff as we go, but all of the stuff I found here. And if you want to, you can also log all of the OSC messages. So for example, I believe if I were to change this to, let's go back to whatever it is, paint splatter, right? Regular paint splatter. Let's see if it's common. Oh, I guess it's not. Okay, well, that's fine. But essentially, this is how it works. I'm taking like the length, right? So this is 14, and I can change this to like, I don't know, like galaxies and moons. Now it turned into 19, and then you saw a little flash right there.
Yep.
And that flash basically is just me updating the OSC. And that's about it. All of them are here. They're all organized, hopefully to the best of my ability. All of them have their little boxes, and you can kind of look at them and you can copy them and see what's up. But mainly the flow of it is just like input, and then the input value, and then there's a trigger that happens every single time it changes, and then that runs these two little purple-ish boxes. Yeah.
Optimistic actually brought a good point, and he says, at one point you show the OSC stuff documentation. He says, I think the OSC docs automatically shows you the OSC addresses for any nodes you have installed. It's personalized for your exact install, I believe. I think that is the case. Yeah, I think that is the case. So it will always be, yeah, exactly. We are looking at the same message.
Okay.
So it should be, depending on your setup and stuff like that, it should always have that contextually correct, which is super nice.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing that I wanted to do. Oh, right. Okay. Last thing that I wanted to do was face. Okay, so I'm going to grab a circle and I'm going to change. So I wanted to explain all of this because I feel like for the longest time that I was learning Scope, I really thought that like I wanted to share all of this stuff because for the longest time I thought that Scope, like I was coming from like stream diffusion, so I was like, oh, like like control nets are really important, and Vase is like kind of that control net. But like I think the video models are actually so powerful that you don't need a stuff just from.
You broke off for a second. The last thing we've heard is like the models are now so strong that you don't need, I'm assuming, control nets anymore. You can just condition them with Vase.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to say? Or
yeah, exactly. I think my thing crashed. Okay, yeah.
oh no.
It's okay. I'll come back to it. But yeah, yeah, you don't need to focus too much on Vase. Vase has a lot of conditioning and to like do transformations. But if you're just looking to like generate some cool visuals out of like some really easy assets, like honestly, like leaving Vase off will give you really high FPS and it will just like look good. But now I wanted to show off maybe something that I could do with Vase. So I'm gonna grab a circle and I'm going to connect back into remote inference. I'm going to go into long live, and then I'm going to go into my video, and then I'm going to go into my NDI. Okay. Circle. Amazing. Wow. So Vase is cool. Oh, also, sorry, didn't even do this before, but you could also use Rife to make it even look smoother.
To get more frames.
More frames, like more. It's great. It's really good. Also, but yeah, you don't need to do that. But yeah, like with Rife, it's like 20 FPS, which is like insane. Video model at 20 FPS in real time with like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So circle. Did I turn this on? Okay, no, I haven't turned this on. So siphon output is on as well. And then everything else is good. So one of the things that you can do with Vase is like something called conditioning, I think. And it's Ryan kind of showed this, but I will do this here. So one thing that I want to do is that when you turn on Vase, I believe you also need to turn on use input video. So make sure you do that. I don't know why they're not paired together, but just make sure that both of those are on. And then what you can do is you can add, so yeah, when you turn it on, you actually activate a bunch of new things. One of them is a reference image. Another one is first frame. Last frame is also cool, but first frame is way cooler.
Yeah, more useful for this case because it works in those chunks of like 20 pixel frames. So last frame is not as useful. It has some value, but as you said, reference image and first frames are the ones to go for.
Let me just keep cat. And then we'll just do, let's do this one. Yo, is this, do you think this is AI generated?
I just wanted to say that you're going to AI generate an AI generated kitten. So
I think it's crazy how there's just so much I feel like it's so crazy how like all the stock photos are now just like AI generated. Oh, so and
another humanity peak, as you said, right? You're peaking so much today.
Oh my god. Are these all WebP? That's something. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Download. Okay, so we're gonna. So I'm downloading just the cat, and then we're gonna go into Daydream, and I'm gonna upload this as our reference. I'm also gonna use this as my first frame. Now, because my cat face is like around there, actually, you know what I could do? Actually, no, I'm not gonna do
I
that.
see where this is going. If this works, people are going to love it.
So, and then I'm gonna bring my circle a bit to the very up, right here. Okay, so think about this as like the cat's head. And this is, this is our cat. Think of this as our cat's head. I think this should work. I'm going to change my prompt in here to be a cat, cute cat looking around. And then I'm going to bring that to 1. I'm going to take away 2 of these. And I'm going to bring this back to 50. Oof, actually, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sorry, guys. And then yeah, now we're gonna press start, and hopefully,
So far, so good.
so far so
Let's
good.
not jinx it.
What? That would never happen. Workshops would never not work. Oh shit. Oh. Oh, perfect. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So that's my cat. I think I should be able to just. Oh no, not that one. Sorry. I think I
Can you
should
move
be
the
able.
circle? Yeah, you should be able.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I believe. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I'm doing this slightly wrong. Oh yeah, I am doing this slightly wrong. Hold on.
I think it's moving her tail more than its head.
Yeah. Here, let me get actually. Let me see. Let me add a optical flow, and then face is on. Okay, let's try this again.
Mhm. What's the difference? What's changed between the?
So okay, so
the
essentially,
judgment right now?
base is like a way for the the generation to kind of have like context on, I guess, like what. Oh shoot. Yeah, like a bit more context on like what is happening based off of your like input image, and so
Like giving it more controllability if you want to steer it way beyond just prompt saying, cat should look left or right. You can do it like this. Is that the case?
yeah, basically, like you can give it some data. Now, the data itself, it can be anything, but you need to make sure that that data can be like recognized by Vase. So there's a lot of different ways. There's like depth, there's edge maps, there's optical flow. And so for something like a circle that we want to kind of move up and down, optical flow is like vectors. So it kind of knows, oh, this circle is moving to the right or the circle is moving to the left. That sort of vibe.
By the way, Hunter just had a cool idea. He says, "This is crazy. I bet you could hook a joystick to it as well. So you can manually, like you have like an Xbox or a PS controller, and do those things. It would be."
What is happening?
Having planets.
Oh, whoopsie. My bad. Forgot to change that. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, that's another thing. Yeah. So when you restart and like delete your timeline, your prompt will automatically go back to the first thing that you typed before starting it. So make sure to kind of fix that. Okay, awesome.
Let's see it again.
Should work now. Okay, and then we want to just. Okay. Aha! So if I move this back and forth, I kind of get this, this cat like moving up and down, and then you could do like, I think like up and down. Yeah. It's not as smooth because I'm not using a mouse, but maybe if I connect this to a mouse, it would actually look better.
Yeah, people are suggesting that there is a bunch of different options that this could be extended with, either with the controller, Optic Mystic says, or like an XY pad, like a Chaosolator type instrument from Korg, but for visuals. Bunch of things that could probably be hooked up like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think there's a bunch of things that you could probably do. Let's try something like this. And then I'm gonna
brainwaves. Yeah, Jamboree says that, like the brainwaves. I think that Leon, one member of our cohort, is building something around that. So EEG outputs as an input to something like this could also possibly produce interesting outputs.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like let's see if that will. Aha! Look at that. It's a bit of delay, but
yeah,
it's looking around. It's looking around because of it.
It's alive.
It's alive.
And you know
Now-
what? It looks more natural than the image that you started with.
Right.
Image
yeah.
was super AI-ish, and this looks way more natural.
Scopes AI models are better than the general stock generation websites.
Yeah.
Um,
And even the fact that we're using waste. So for example, if you look at the desk, right, you can see the reflection of the cat. So it's not just naive in painting stuff. It kind of understands the context that it is. So you can see her head or its head being reflected on the board as well, which is really, really nice.
yeah, it's really cool.
Waste is pretty
Now,
powerful. Yeah.
I wonder what happened.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah,
this-
and then another thing is if I bring this, whoop, if I bring, hello.
Our cat is glitching.
Okay, so if I bring the vase all the way down, you see it kind of doesn't do anything anymore. But I can bring that all the way back up, and now she's looking back and forth
Yeah.
again.
Meta DJ is asking, like, will there be a replay of this video? Yeah, this is being streamed on YouTube, so automatically it's recorded. So after this, like, we can post it to our Discord channel. So yeah, we should be saved and good, so you can rewatch it over and over again.
Yeah. Now
I have no idea what's currently going on, but
I bumped it up to 2.
okay.
So we're now it's like overloading it. So yeah. Bring that back. Now another thing that you can do, which I'm going to actually just
So Andrew, be mindful of times. We have like 4 or 5 more minutes to go. So
oh shit. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll have to drop. If you want to hang around, you can stay. I don't mind it. I'll just have to drop for another thing. But if you want to
Right.
stay around,
Yeah,
well, that's
Okay,
perfectly fine
cool.
for office hours.
Yeah, I'll this is the last thing I want to show off. So if it goes over, it should be okay. Actually, you know what? How about this? You guys come to office hours. No, actually,
There you go. That's how you tease people to come to
Yeah.
the office hours. People from the cohort.
because we're all going to be hanging out and chatting, and then yeah, I'll probably show it off. But aside from that, that's basically this file. Vase is pretty cool. Lots of things you can do there. Really like try to explore it. I think there's like, yeah. The next thing that I wanted to show was like also pretty cool that hopefully I can do in the office hours. But yeah, I think that's like about it for me.
Yeah, Andrew, thank you so much for joining. This was awesome to see. I know, as I said, a lot of people have been asking about the touch designer integration with Scope. You built your own stuff to make that happen. For everyone from our AI video program cohort, there are going to be office hours following this right now, and then Andrew can show you a little bit more, and you can ask him any follow-up questions. People who are building in this cohort, on Monday, it's our midpoint check-in. Looking forward to what you've built so far. We'll be around over the weekend if you have any questions. We can support you with that. And again, Andrew, thank you so much for joining. This was really awesome. I bet everyone learned a lot. Our community also, thank you for your great questions and participation. It was lovely having you all here. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.